am in a place called Cebu in the Philippines. This tile floor, very large 2 by 2 foot tile, keeps on going. I mean, like literally like a football field. This is the length of a football field down to that little restaurant down at the very end. A football field. So, expansion joints. I want to talk about that because a lot of people kind of give me a hard time for questioning things. But when I see actual work and things that are said, and if you don't do X, Y, Z, A, B, C will happen, or vice versa, I'm always intrigued by the fact that it doesn't happen. So I'm gonna talk about expansion joints. Yes, I believe in them. I think that they're necessary. But as you can clearly see, we have hundreds of feet of tile on here, and there is no expansion joint. I've seen this in Southeast Asia on many occasions. This is an airport. And having seen what I'm seeing, it's just hard for me to believe that things are always needed, as a lot of people purport that things always must be done in a certain way, otherwise you'll have a failure. And I'm just not seeing failure. I mean, literally, expansion joints should be done about every 26 to 30 feet. And I'm right now coming up on the 30-foot mark right here. And even if I look in the other direction, 30 foot would be basically somewhere around right here, 30 foot. And these tile are very closely put together. And again, I'm not disputing the fact that it either needs it or it doesn't need it. I'm just saying I'm not seeing the damages that people are concerned about, or that they talk about anyway. It just keeps on going and going and going. Can you imagine starting day one with the first tile? With the very first tile, knowing, holy crap, look at that area. It's crazy. Like knowing full well that you have all this tile to do, and just starting on day one. It's a decent tile too, I like it. But again, just not seeing all the issues and the problems that people always talk about. Oddly enough, another part of the airport and a different tile, and there is expansion joint clearly, and it's going in the other direction as well. Kind of odd though. Like, why on one application, not the other? And there it is again. Clearly, you can make it out. But if you look left to right, 30 foot over would be, yeah, okay. So they have this one. Oh, sorry. Yeah, so they have them in both directions, obviously this way and that way, but not on the other side with the other tile. Very odd. This is actually 30-inch tile expansion, and then 4 tile later expansion, 4 tile later expansion. So yeah, every 4 tile expansion joint all the way up, but it's a different tile than what we saw before, obviously. And then you have situations like I have currently in my apartment in Jamaica. I've been here now for well over a dozen years, and this is my bedroom. And I remember last time I was here, my tile started tinting. If you ever hear that term, this is what it is. You could actually Google that. You'll see some people who have caught it in action. It pop, 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 pop. and the tiles literally just break apart. In this case, they didn't quite do that, but it did definitely cause this issue. And it's very, very tight. I've walked on this many times already, and none of them have really fallen apart. But it's kind of dangerous because if they do break, they're going to be sharp. So the reason is it's wall against wall. It's concrete. There is no expansion joint that can take up for any type of expansion and contraction, which happens a lot here because of the heat. So there should be some type of soft joint going on. Usually around the perimeter is probably where you want it, so that it has an ability to move a little bit incrementally, so this tenting thing doesn't happen. But it is not fun. It is not something that I'm looking forward to, because I know this isn't going to be repaired anytime soon. But look at the whole thing. Look at that. Just off of one tile alone. It's just transferring through. It's transferring through 1, 2, 3, 4 tile back. And look at that. Of course, they don't do tile all the time really, really good here in Jamaica. And so there's a lot of mortar, the floor mortar, that wasn't contiguous. So there are a lot of gaps, which allow for more expansion and contraction. So I'm just kind of freeing up so it's not so dangerous. Then you can kind of set it back in until you're ready to repair it. But yeah, nothing's across the board. A lot of rules out there. People will tell you if you don't do X, Y, and Z, or A, B, C, then X, Y, and Z could happen. And there's nothing across the board. You know, I have plenty of area in this apartment 15, 16 years later that I have no issues with. That's actually a larger area than my bedroom. And so nothing's happened. Doesn't mean that it can't or won't in the future, but in the meantime, this is the only area in 15 years that has had this problem. And it could be argued that, look, I couldn't even open my drawers on my, I got drawers on my bed, and I couldn't even open them because the tenting was so bad. And it can always be argued that the tile job wasn't done correctly, which is a valid argument. But either which way, there still should have been some type of soft joint going on here. And there wasn't. So that's part and parcel the issue that I encountered. I did a video some months ago here in Jamaica. This guy laid this floor tile, and if you remember the video, I'll link it above, right there, up in right there in the corner there. I'll link that video up there. And if you recall, this is all tile, which I was really impressed with. All the cuts around this name is just incredible. I thought it was like tape. I thought it was colored tape, and it's actually tile, which is awesome. Anyway, this is this is probably half the length of a football field, I'm guessing. And it's just humongous area that this guy had to tile. Imagine, one tile at a time. One tile at a time. He's still here working because obviously it's still under construction. But on all of this, there is no expansion joint. You know, like, you should clearly be able to see about every 5th or 6th tile. These are 16 by 16, might be 20 by 20, but either which way, you're gonna have an expansion joint probably every 5th or 6th row, and there's just nothing going on here. Now, could there be a problem in the future? Yes, possibly. But as much as I've come to Jamaica and seen this type of tile in commercial applications in stores and stuff like that, I've just never seen any buckling, even though it can happen. These are very, very small 1/16 grout line too. Some of them are a little bit off, like here, not much. But yeah, very difficult, not only to get this all flat and level the way it should be, because of the way that the floors are usually poured here, make it very, very difficult. But also because, hello, it's just like, even though I'm assuming it's a rectified tile, just very, very difficult to get all this so perfect and so nice. And no leveling clips are used in here whatsoever. And, you know, again, am I opposed to expansion joint? No, not necessarily. But anytime I talk about things, I always show proof of what I talk about rather than just say blanket statement, you can't do this or you can do that or whatever. I just make it very, very clear on my videos that I back it up with some type of video, with some type of proof, evidence of what I talk about, rather than just talking for talking's sake and just assuming that everything that a book says is correct, because I'm in different places showing things that cannot be proven by me. But again, very, very nice, nicely done tile, a lot of it. And it'll be interesting. I'll be back here probably in a couple years to see if there's any problems. The area downstairs is the same size as this, and it's been around now for a little bit over a year. And I went downstairs earlier and got my Pepsi, and I didn't see any issues whatsoever. Extremely good, man. If this guy was not in Jamaica, if he was in Atlanta, I would hire him in a heartbeat and pay him whatever he wanted. Just outstanding, outstanding work. Hey, if you enjoyed that video and you learned something, consider being a Patreon member. $5, $10, $15 a month would help me greatly produce more videos. I make nothing from YouTube at all. If you're gonna call me for advice, please donate $50 for 30 minutes. My link to my PayPal and my Patreon account is down below. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell so you get immediate notifications as soon as I post videos. And thank you very much for your support.